Hello and welcome. When I was a kid, well, I was about 12 or maybe 13, I watched a war movie that sunk deep into my memory, and it was Das Boot, a movie about a German U-boat during World War II. It was completely different from the other war movies that I watched those days, because most of them were like some adventure movies, some maybe even some Western style, like Where Eagles Dare and so on. And some of them were more epic war pictures, like Longest Day or One Bridge Too Far. While that movie was completely different. First, it was a movie that shows German point of view, which was pretty rare because all these movies that I mentioned before were about allies. Also, it was very dark. It was a realistic movie. It was not a humorous movie, not an adventurous movie, not an epic movie, but just pure, dark, sometimes even depressing reality of the U-boats during World War II. So it was a great movie. It fell deep in my memory, and I watched it many times since this day. I even read a book that the movie was based upon. And I think that many of you, even if you never had a chance to watch this movie, but I recommend to do so, may know this movie because of the great music. And I remember that the main theme of this movie became a radio hit. It was remixed by some group. I don't remember the name of this group, but it was very popular in the radio back then, in the 90s. So despite the fact that I liked this movie a lot, I never played much games about submarines. I remember playing one or two games at my PC, like Silent Service or Steel Wolves, but not much actually. And same goes to the board games. I never played much board games about marine warfare, about battleships, about U-boats, and so. But back then, when I decided to buy my new GMT games, I started to watch what my local game store has, and I found this game. And I think it was a cover, because the cover looks much than the movie I mentioned before. And it made me to get interested in this game. I checked it a bit and found that it is a solitaire war game. And you may remember that some time ago I purchased Sherman Leader, which was also a solitaire war game, and it is a pretty good game, so I decided to give it a try and purchased The Hunters, German U-boats at war, 1939-43. There is also a second part of this game about a late stage of the war, but I am much more interested in the early stage of the war. And this comes to the war games as well. So I decided to choose Hunters, which is about first part of the war. And here, let's take a look on this. First, the cover. I said before that it reminds me about Das Boot movie. It looks very good, and it's maybe not that fancy like many other war games. It is mostly black and white, or rather black, white and blue, but I like it a lot, and I like it much better than many colorful covers. Here we have a lot of text. Notice that there is not much pictures like in many other games. It's more like text about game, about and there's also some information about complexity, average time playing, number of players, solitaire suitability, and replaying. So it seems that according to this information, this game works fine for me because it has not a very high complexity. It has average time of play about 2 or 3 hours, so it's fine because I rather avoid games that you need to end in about 1-2 days. It seems this is gonna be a game for one evening, which is good. Next, players 1. So this is good because you can play it with yourself and you don't have to get schizophrenia with playing with a game for 2 players as 1 player. and suitable for solitary play. Same goes to this, very high, so it's great. And very important thing for war games, replayability. Replayability, very high. So everything seems to be fine, and it wasn't even very expensive, I have to say. I rarely buy GMT games because they are quite expensive, and I can purchase one or maybe two for a year. But this wasn't very expensive, so it was good. Also, this is tiered printing of this game, and so this is pretty new, and it gets some additional new stuff exclusive for this tiered printing. 8 commandant cards and 2 patrol maps. So that's fine. Okay, and let's take a look inside. I noticed that the lid of the box is extra thick. Normally GMT games are a bit more thin. This box is thick and I like it. And first, what we have here, a rule book. Oh wow, this is printed on the normal paper. Yes, normal paper, not that slick and shiny paper like in many war games that I met before. But this is normal paper, and this is good because it will be easier to read. And now, oh, I started from behind. Well, I expected this game to have a lot of rules because it is going to be solitaire war game, so solitaire war games usually have more rules than 2 players or more players war games. And it is a fact. You can already see that there is a lot of text. The rules are detailed. If you compare with, for example, Sherman Leader, I presented at my video before, you can tell the difference. There was much more graphics there and less text than here. We have much more information, so this game is going to be more complex than Sherman Leader, I believe. But it's not bad because, well, this will be even more interesting, I believe. Well, I have to say that I enjoy Sherman Leader a lot, and I think I will make some more movies about this game as well. Alright, I have to say that it reminds me a bit about 80s game. About games like, well, which you may know about, Creature That Ate Shebogian, or Gondor, or War of the Rings, because there is a lot of small rules, small informations, some tables here and there. Okay, and now what we have here. Okay, first we have 22 pages of rules, so it's not a very big number. I saw war games with much longer rules, but you can see there is a lot of text and not much graphics, so it will take a lot to learn these rules. Next we have some info about U-boat, top 10 German U-boat commandants. So this is rather historical info. And Hunter's patrol log sheet. So I think I will need to make a copy of this. And now this, I hope I don't have to copy and cut and paste these counters. I hope it's just the spare copy. Okay, let's take a look. Now oh yes, I believe these are the same counters we have here. Let's take a look. Yes, these are the same, alright. And now you may notice that there is a lot of empty counters here. This is interesting. I hope these are not this is not some printing mistake by company, but let's compare. No, it seems that this is a okay. Now I might understand why they give us this these counters printed here in the rule book, so we can check that this is not a mistake, but that's how it should like. These empty counters are empty by purpose, because if I wouldn't get this this printing here, I would be almost sure that I get some poorly written, poorly printed copy with some mistakes. but it seems this is not mistake. So there is not much counters here. This is counter sheet 1 of 1, so we have only one counter sheet for entire game. This is not much, because I get used to the games with much more counter sheets. So that's all. The counters are normal. They are not stunning, they are not bad. They just look normally. It's interesting. I never met a game with such a big number of empty counters. Now what would we have here? The Hunter's tiered printing bonus material. Aha, okay, information about additional stuff that comes with this tiered printing. Good. And now, what we have here next, these are U-boat cards. So, how many of them, and are they double? Yes, they are double-sided, and this is type 9B, this is type 9A. So each of them is for a different type. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So we get 8 U-boats at the beginning of the game. Since 9A, from starting with September 1939 till the type C flag, or no, type 8D. Type 8D started available January 1942, and oh, this one comes from May 1933. So there is a lot of info on these U-boat sheets. I believe we will use counters to mark our everything on these tables. Okay, it looks good, it looks interesting. I think this is the first time I see something like this in a war game, so this is going to be something new and nice for me. What's going on next? U-boat command mat. So this seems to be a this is one-sided. Okay, and this is going to be a mat that I'm going to use for resolving my battles, I believe. Next we have some maps. That's interesting because they look like some staff maps. They look quite historical. This is nice. Also, notice that all the names here of the countries are written in German. This is not good, because, well, it makes you feel like a real commander of the U-boat, because I believe no U-boat would use maps printed in English. So we have some, oh, even this nice looking info like Atlantischer Ozean, Amerika bis Westafrika, Maßstab aus, and everything else is in German. I don't read in German much, so don't want to hurt your ears with my poor German. Enough that I'm hurting your ears with my poor English. But I see that there is a lot of writing here in German. This is nice. This is nice. I thought that these maps might be more, well, colorful, detailed and so, but I think they are nice because they look like real maps for the U-boat commander, and so this is nice. Now, we have a lot of tables now. U-boat patrol assignment. Okay, so this seems to be a encounter chart. Okay, so this seems to be tables that we will use during the game. Same goes here. I was curious why there's not tables in the rulebook. Now I see why, because they are all printed on the other different sheets, and this is cool. Oh, as you can see, there is a lot of these sheets, and again, it reminds me much of the 80s games, because that was popular in the 80s games, to give player a lot of random tables. Optional small freighter target rooster. Okay, so this is going to be your targets. And now, oh my, Hunter's Patrol log sheet. I believe this is the same which was in the rulebook. I have to check if I am right or not. Patrol log sheet. U-boat ID. Patrol targets. Commandant. Yes, I believe this is the same, with little changes. I believe that this one in the rulebook might comes with tiered printing, but this might be from older printing. But this is interesting that we get a lot of these patrol log sheets. In most of the war games, when you get some stuff to write by yourself, this is only 1 or 2 pages and information, made as many copies as you like. And here we get a lot of copies since the beginning of the game, so we don't even have to make our copies for a long time, because game provides us with a big number of copies. This is good. This is good. Alright, next we have a number of die. There are 3 D6, 2 D10, I believe, and 1 D20. Oh, so quite a big variety of the dice in the one game. I don't think I met something like this before. Most of the games focuses on one dice, like D10 or 2 D6, sometimes D20, but very rarely in all 3 kinds of them. So this is interesting, but it makes sense with all these tables there. And now we get, oh, I think these are 8 commandant cards mentioned on the box that comes with tiered printing of the game. So this might be our heroes, the guys will be playing us, I think. These cards are thick again. This is interesting because I never met a game with thick cards. A war game, to be precise, because I saw such stuff in the normal board games, some adventure board games and so, but never in war games. So this is interesting to get such a thick cards. And I wonder if we will use these cards, or these are only for to make games look nice. But yes, there's some game abilities and so on, so I think we will use them. And they look also nice. I think I like it. So that's what comes with the box. You can see that there is a very small number of counters, if you compare, for example, with Next War or MBT, but a lot of tables. So this is going to be quite a different war game than normal hex and counter games. But I think this can be interesting as well. I believe it will take me some time to master the rules, because there is a lot of stuff to learn. So I don't think I will be able to record my gameplay video very quickly. But I promise that as soon as I will learn and maybe master rules, I will make some movies, because this game looks fancy, and I think it might be a very good game for recording your session. So if you are looking for something about submarines during World War II, and you are looking something about German submarines, and just like me you enjoyed Das Boot movie, this can be something that you might be interested in, because it was printed. This tiered printing came in 2019, so it is quite new and should be easy to get. So that's for now. Thank you for watching, and see you again.